So the third and final aspect of a parent's role in the life of a youth group kid is to guard. We have to protect them from the world. You are the filter. In order to be the filter, you must first be the witness. You have to know what's going on, and you have to be aware always. We have to be careful of the growing isolation of kids these days. There's one type of isolation that is on a sharp rise in our culture, and that is hours and hours of unmonitored spiritual influences through the media. You got iPods, movies, unmonitored bedroom television sets, internet, social media, cell phones, texting, video games. You see, if you leave my kids, who are 6, 5, and 2, if you leave them in a candy store unmonitored for hours and hours, and every single day you tell them, don't eat the candy that's on the shelves, but you leave it out all over the place within arm's reach, there's no amount of don't eat that candy that's going to prevent them from eating some. See, we raise our kids in a contradictory manner when we tell them that lust is bad, and then we allow them to wander unmonitored through the red light district that is the internet. You know, I looked up, I make birthday cakes for my kids on their birthdays, and I kind of try and design them for however they like. And it was Connor's birthday, so I made him an Elmo cake, and he's a little 2-year-old guy. And I looked up Elmo coloring pages on Google Images strict search. And what I ended up getting, and this is with the strict search, is like almost half of them were Katy Perry and an Elmo t-shirt on Saturday Night Live. You know, we have to be the filters, not our computer filters. Our computers don't care if our kids go to hell or not. You care if your kids go to hell. You know, it makes me so angry. I think not on my watch and not in my home will I allow my precious little ones to be victimized by this sick culture. You know, if they're going to see smut one day, it's not, Lord willing, going to be in my home or on my watch. I have to be really diligent and have to appreciate the absolutely devastating influence the media can have on my kids. Another danger is the unchaperoned hangout. I've noticed big time, especially in the shore area. The towns are so small around here, and it's very cool. They all have their own little main streets. And it's very much a part of the culture. The kids just go hang out on Main Street or at the beach with no one watching them. When I was a kid, this is the exact time which kids would have their first drink, smoke their first joint, etc. Nobody knows where they are. Nobody's watching what they're doing. For some of the kids, Main Street, for others it's a friend's house whose parents are never home. For some it's the woods. For some it's down at the train tracks. To be completely straightforward, I have heard so many stories about kids getting drunk while chaperoned, let alone unchaperoned. We have to be diligent in watching our kids and making sure that they're monitored. It is not overprotection, and it's only for their good. This is one of those cultural norm things that are lethal. Okay, the whole concept of guarding while trying to allow for independence is very much like teaching your kid how to ride their bike. The right way is to, even though it really hurts and it's very difficult, you run with them. You hold on to their seat. For every inch they move, you move, guarding them and supporting them, and it's wildly inconvenient and unbelievably uncomfortable. But if you don't, then they're going to hurt themselves. So once you see them consistently pedaling and making the correct motions with their feet, then you let go slightly, but without them even noticing. But yet you still stay with them and watch them and catch them if they do fall as they go farther. But only after you consistently see good pedaling and balance, you can allow them to ride without you there every single solitary step. There are kids, however, who say, I can do it, let me try, I got this, and they can't, and they can't go 2 feet without falling over. And as parents, it's our responsibility, out of love, not to give in to their pleas of independence before they have proven to be stable. All right, and then finally, we can't fear the proverbs of the world, things that the world tells us about child rearing and guarding, in particular, our kids. We have to reject the following things. Listen, the first one is reject the concept of phases, the idea that your kid's going to grow out of something. I know that I had a student in school, and I love her dearly, sweet girl, but super into this one screamer band, so I looked it up, and the next album that they have coming out is called Drunk on the Blood of the Saints. I mean, We're talking about quoting Revelation scripture about a bunch of Christians getting killed for the Lord. And this is the name of the album. She's wearing the t-shirt. And you know what? There's no room for that. I don't care if, a lot of times the parents will say things like, I was in a rock and roll phase, I was in this phase, that phase, and I grew out of it. Well, number one, not everybody does grow out of it. And number two, it doesn't glorify the Lord to let your kids sit in this sin. It doesn't help them in their development to see mom and dad kind of neglecting the fact that they're involved with quasi-satanic music. We really have to reject the idea of kids growing out of phases. It either glorifies the Lord or it doesn't. We also have to reject the idea of the sheltered kids syndrome. The idea that if you protect your child, that's going to somehow cause them to totally freak out when they get to college. I went to Rutgers, and who drank themselves silly and slept around? The non-sheltered kids, and also some of the sheltered kids. But being protective and being caring doesn't guarantee them some kind of wild hedonistic lifestyle when they get to the university. The point is that we're not going to willfully neglect protecting our kids for fear that they're going to have a meltdown in college. We are told to guard our paths by our God, and so we will guard our paths as well as our children's. And finally, we need to reject the idea that if you teach and you guard your kid and you protect them, that it's going to make them hate you because they don't enjoy it and they reject it now, so as they get older, they're going to become slowly more calloused and disregard you and put you out as a father or a mother. Proverbs says that the fool hates his father's instruction. It doesn't say that our instruction should stop simply because the kid doesn't like it. It says, in fact, that some kids won't like it, and God considers them foolish. The scriptures let us know that when playing the fool, our kid is going to hate our instruction and our guidance. Don't let that scare you. Continue persevering in your parenting. So that's it, parents. We need to train, lead, and guard our kids. Sometimes I think about how awesome God's plan is for parenting, and it's highly intimidating. Let me just show you a sketch really quick. This is how I see it. God's handiwork. A work of art, creating a beautiful and happy child using both skill and artistry, and all of a sudden, my heart sinks. I think, I can't do that. Are you kidding? That's what's expected? I don't have the skill or the ability. Like Isaiah in the scriptures, when he sees God, sees himself in the light of God's presence and screams out that he's going to die because of his impurity. I hold up my version of parenting. Wow, that's not even close. Now that's good to recognize, but we can't stop there. We have to take a deep breath, ask God to give us wisdom and strength, hold it up to his and say, let's get going. Well, I'm not right here and the ear looks really weird, but at least the eyes are in the right place. We're encouraged by his promise. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Keep pressing on, Mom and Dad. You have an awesome responsibility and a God who can easily empower you to do it.